Alright, hello everybody. I've got another cast for you guys from the second round of the Protosszocker 1v1 tournament of the month of July. We got Fussel playing 17th SS versus Harold Alexander playing 15th Scottish Infantry. The troll among trolls. If you've ever seen him on the forums or, well, anywhere for that matter. The king of trolls. Absolute king. Alright, so we're playing on the Hill 112. This big open map. So kind of expect to see a lot of the IG-18s, Churchill 5s, MG42s, that kind of stuff. Just kind of dominating the open fields here. This hill is always fun to play over. I think red has an advantage when they take this hill. And is at an extreme disadvantage if they lose it. It's actually kind of important to try and at least contest this hill. That way you don't have this area up here that a T-gun on the hill or an MG42 or so on can really help remove. And in the center of the map is more hedgerow, so on and so forth. So, looks like we got Harold Alexander's going to have some Churchill 5s, a bunch of rifles, Rd2, 6-pounder, a couple more rifles, machine guns. At the top of the map, he's just sending a MMG carrier. I guess he's just conceding that area, and then some more rifles and a commander to the top of the map in this area down here. Fussel started out with his Stug along with a bunch of Panzer Grenadiers, a couple Stollstroop. I don't think he has any machine guns though. Oh, he has a couple. But yeah, we're going to see these IG-18s really put the hurt down on some of these vehicles here, forcing the units to unload. The Stug, oh, that was oof. Oh, that was close. The 6-pounder was extremely close to killing that Stug. Unfortunately, the IG-18 did the job for him, and Fussel just walking up here, pushing forward. He's going to quickly remove these Churchill 5s. Except this one, luckily enough for Harold Alexander, is able to dodge behind this building, or not building, forest here. And yeah, you look down here, this Stug is going crazy. Top of the map, we have an MMG carrier, which Fussel is wisely bringing his Stollstroop forward to kill. Harold Alexander bringing in some more AT guns. He knows he needs to deal with that Stug, and looks like some more rifle squads or Bren groups. Fussel bringing up another IG-18 and some form of recon. That's probably useful. It must be probably from Spay Troop. At the top, the Stollstroop unfortunately get annihilated as they move up, trying to kill the MMG carrier. He might get lucky with this shot though. Oh, he decides he's going to smoke. That's very nice. Center of the map, though, almost all of that open from Harold Alexander, annihilated by the Stug 3 and IG-18 from the start of the map. And Fussel's bringing up, it looks like even more IG-18s to push up here. Yeah, this is crazy. Bring another one up here, another one back here. Fussel's going to be able to push up with these guys. One Bren group is not going to hold them back on the top of the map. Surprised that Harold Alexander hasn't started trying to make a play up here, because there's a lot of ground up here that, well, is pretty ripe for the taking. In the center of the map, though, these AT guns do go down to the combined fire of the Stug and IG-18, but the Stug is completely actually out of HE ammunition. I think Fussel's probably going to end up bringing a supply truck out to reinforce that. Churchill 5, or resupply I should say. Churchill 5, another one coming out into the middle. So, Harold's really relying on these 6-pounders to deal with this Stug. Unfortunately, it's hard for them to get into range when all these IG-18s are available to pummel any little spot. Fussel's fire positioning into this forest here because he does not want to see these 6-pounders remove his Stug. That's really keeping him in this area right here, preventing these Churchill 5s from moving forward. And here we go on the hill. We're starting to see Harold Alexander do a little bit of a push here. He has his command carrier, providing fire support onto the MG42. Unfortunately, these rifles get annihilated by the Stoltz troop that were hiding just on the other side of the forest here. Very nice little position there. Again, in the middle of the map, we have the first Neb Warfare 41 from the 17th SS player. That's going to be really nice for Fussel to drive these guys out of this little bush. Looks like that's exactly what happened. One of the Churchill 5s ended up dying, and all of the AT guns that were here are now dead, allowing this Stug to really just have at it. Fussel, this is really nice play here from Fussel. You see these recon guys. He's gonna be able to know that there's basically nothing in these hedgerows and so on here. So he's going to be able to move these Stugs up with impunity. Switching back to a neutral perspective. Not much going on. The top of the map is pretty much dead. Fussel doesn't really, I don't know if he's just not playing it or what, but yeah. This is just kind of a stalemate. Center of the map. Harold Alexander keeps continuously just driving forward with units, and just I don't know what he expects to happen. It's the same thing all over again. The Bofors and the 6-pounder though put a lot of suppression damage onto the Stug, probably also from the Churchill. Harold had a great opportunity just now to remove this Stug. Unfortunately, it did not pan out for him. And we've reached Phase B. Looks like we're going to start seeing more armor out of the 17th SS player, transitioning from infantry towards a little bit more armor in the form of the 232 armored car and a Stug 3G at Vet 2. The Scottish player is going to continue to bring out more infantry, and we see the first of the heavy Scott Churchills. The Crocodile. I don't consider the Churchill 5 to be a heavy Churchill. It is a Churchill, but not a heavy Churchill. Heavily armored one, at least. And the IG-18s keep pushing forward, recon in front, Panzer Grenadiers in front. This is a very potent combination. It's not very difficult to imagine seeing 75mm shells pounding on these Bren groups, and then getting the MG42s in a supporting role there. And it looks like Harold Alexander wants to make a play on top of this hill, but all that's going to do is draw out one of these two tanks now to remove it. I don't really think Harold's going to be doing too much up here. Now that the 232 is here, another IG-18, and yeah, I think yeah, looks like Fussel notices something's up here. Should be able to see it with the Spade Troop. But looks like we're just going to see some duels to the death over a Crocodile. Fussel is putting a little bit of smoke onto his dudes, allowing them to retreat. This massive Bren groups really was going to annihilate him, and that was a nice little play from Fussel to keep alive some of his dudes. Usually that's an afterthought to try and smoke infantry to keep them alive, or in general to smoke units to keep them alive. At least in this game, I know War Game was almost a requirement to smoke vehicles, at least, due to how quickly vehicles could just be annihilated. We finally see another Stug, or maybe this was the Stug. It was the Stug, come from the middle of the map to remove some of the armored vehicles that Harold Alexander decided he was going to bring to this hill. Again, that's switching the balance of power much further into Fussel's position down here, and not to mention Fussel has a great material advantage across the map still. It's going to be very difficult for Harold Alexander to push back into these IG-18s with Stug support, as well as some autocannons, Panzerwerfers, and a Pak-43. This is going to be very, very difficult indeed. We have some Wolverines being brought up, though, which is kind of an interesting choice. They're a Vet 0, but they outrange the Stugs. So you get the first shot off, and then your accuracy becomes almost on par with the that 2 stug at 1,000 meter range. And it's okay. Unfortunately, I don't think Fussel's going to let these stugs come into range of the Wolverines. We have another stug down here, so this must have been a second stug. Stug versus Crocodile, though. The accuracy of the stug just constantly hitting this Crocodile is going to force it to fall back, probably show its side armor, and at that point the stug will have a guaranteed kill. There we go. One dead Crocodile. Looks like, yep, it turned side armor to the stug. That was all she wrote. This side of the map, though, we have an IG-18 getting a fallback on a Wolverine, and oh, here comes the Ju-87G. This is gonna really hurt. But nice play from Fussel, putting the Ju-87G in line with the Spitfire Mark 9, almost saving it. Unfortunately, Fussel's 190A8 was not able to get a good enough suppression off onto the Spitfire Mark 9, and the Ju-87 does end up dying. Harold Alexander ended up purchasing a 25-pounder, it looks like, to deal with some of the heavier indirect fire options and direct fire options that Fussel bought. Some of the IG-18s. He initially went after this Pack 43, it looks like. Fussel taking over the top of Hill 112 itself, using his planes to continuously strafe units that he can find. And at this point, it's pretty much all over here for Harold Alexander. Interesting showing from him. I think he butchered his open, and that was basically the end. As you can see, open, butchered, just, yeah, that was about it. Nothing else could be done. But you keep looking down this line of kills, and you just realize how in control Fussel was the entire game. Just the Churchill 5s really doing any killing, Spitfire getting the plane. But that stug in the center of the map at the start of the game, removing a Churchill 5, a bunch of different infantry squads, making things unload in terrible, terrible positions, really gave Fussel a distinct advantage. Harold should have been keeping these Churchill 5s much further range, using recon to spot the IG-18s, and being a little bit more cheeky with his 6-pounders. But anyway, that is another round 2 game. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll get some more casts to you in the next couple days. Finish off round 2, on to round 3, and maybe I'll also do casts of the bronze and final games as well. Bronze semifinal and final games. Alright, thank you very much, guys. Take care.